Yo, we are. I'm so juiced, man. It's a great day. I've been waiting for this for so long. Week 1 of the NFL season is over and we can finally recap what happened. You know I had to rep the Max Crosby jersey after we come out 1 and 0. Undefeated season on the way. Undefeated Raiders for now. Chiefs last in the division. But we have to lead off the show talking about Ravens Bills. I think off the top of my head, this is probably one of the 10 greatest football games I've ever watched. Just a regular season football game. It's up there. This is in the top 10 best games I've ever seen. And I can't even. A lot of people are going to come out here and try and do the whose fault is it that the Ravens lost? Did the Ravens choke? Lamar needs to do this. Lamar needs to do that. I'm here to do nothing but give props to these teams, man. These guys put on a fucking show. I know you look, the defense, oh my God, you got to get stops. At the end of the day, these two guys are two of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen in my entire life. If you want to compare them to these old guys back in the day and you want to talk about how they have all these accolades and all this shit, that's fine. You want to talk about how, they don't stack up to these guys back in the day because they won Super Bowls and they did this. These guys are still young into their career. Those things are going to come. But, you can't convince me that Lamar Jackson isn't one of the 10 greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time, man. It's like the guy just, man. And Josh Allen tonight, or last night, dude, he's a superhero on the field. Josh Allen last night had 251 pass yards, 18 rush yards, and 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It is a crazy performance from this dude. They come back from down 15. Derrick Henry has the bad fumble. There's a point where, don't get me wrong, that sucks. A lot of people are going to blame it on Derrick Henry. I'm not blaming anything on Derrick Henry. This dude is absolutely impossible to tackle in the open field, and we all knew that. You know what I mean? We all knew that, so I'm not going to come in here and act like I'm dropping some revolutionary knowledge on you. But I think he was averaging, let me pull up his yards per carry. Derrick Henry had 18 for 169 and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 9.5 yards per carry. You just saw so much talent on display last night in this game, and it made me nothing but happy for the NFL to see. Everything looked great tonight. It was a playoff environment. Lamar looked very well put together. Josh Allen looked very well put together, but I thought Josh Allen was getting outplayed by Lamar until the fourth quarter. Derrick Henry looked like the best player on the field until the fourth quarter when Josh Allen turned into our Lord and Savior. I could not believe it, man. Derrick Henry, those 2 big touchdown runs were crazy. Had a playoff feel. The Bills came out at the start of the game and they had a lot of man coverage and they were sending a ton of pressure at Lamar. And then they kind of settled down, got into that run game, and they had to back that off. And what a game, man. There's really nothing I can do except just hype up the guys who played. I'm not going to come in here and bring anybody down. I can't blame the defenses, man. Both teams got 40 bombed. What are you going to do? That missed extra point, that's a rough one. You got to hit that. Team would have been in overtime. It's just, I can do nothing but say, these guys are just generational talents. And I think both of these guys would have Super Bowl rings if they didn't happen to play in the league at the same time as Patrick Mahomes. Same way that, I think a lot of guys would have had a ring if Tom Brady wasn't around. So I can do nothing but say, Lamar Jackson, one of the most skilled, one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever watched with my own eyes. Josh Allen in these games, in the fourth quarter of a game sometimes, there's just when it's a big game, Josh Allen just figures shit out. I love watching Josh Allen in the fourth quarter of a big game that has a playoff feel. He just, of course, he's not the one who made Derrick Henry fumble, but the drive after was beautiful. He's doing it on his legs. He's doing everything. It was great, man. I love watching these two teams play. I love watching the Bills. I love watching the Ravens. Shout out to the two of them. There's really nothing else I can say besides what a beautiful game of football, man. We can move to now here, the rest of the games. The Steelers and the Jets game was interesting. I thought that game was going to not be very exciting. Both teams put up almost 30 points. Steelers ended up winning. Justin Fields just looked awesome. And every time every play I watched of this game, Justin Fields just looked well put together. I didn't see a single off-target throw. I didn't see him looking frantic in the pocket. Justin Fields looked like Jaden Daniels today. And I don't know what's changed. I thought that the Jets defense was going to look significantly better, but Aaron Rodgers came out there and put out a vintage Aaron Rodgers performance. I think he had 4 touchdowns. He just looked like an animal. I mean, Rodgers looked like young Rodgers. I mean, of course, the escapability's not there. He's not flicking it 80 yards, but I mean, the guy came to play today, man. Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields put on a show. I'm so happy the NFL season is back for shit like this. That was a random 1 o'clock kickoff game that nobody thought was going to be exciting. I thought that game was going to be 17-10 Steelers, and it was an awesome game. Justin Fields looked so well put together. I don't know what the hell Aaron Glenn or whoever their OC is, because I can't remember his name. I don't know what they told this guy. I don't know what they did with this guy in the offseason. Justin Fields looked like an all-pro today. It was just beautiful. I thought that the Jets defense was going to look a lot better. Kind of disappointed in Aaron Glenn's. I thought that defense was going to be like top 5 in the league defense. Who knows? Maybe the Steelers are really world beaters in you know what I mean? Maybe the Steelers are really world beaters offensively, which I would highly doubt. But I mean, that was a sick game. And then Chargers. We'll do a quick recap of Chargers Chiefs, because I didn't talk about it when it happened, because I was, watching the next games. But Quentin Johnson looked awesome. He's going to get added to 100 people's fantasy teams. I think Justin Herbert is immediately proving my Chargers take wrong. I came on here, I was wrong, seemingly, and I said that I didn't think the Chargers were going to be that good this year because of the Rashawn Slater injury. I didn't really trust their offensive line. I thought that they might get him hurt. Their offensive line actually looked decent. Omarion Hampton looked good. Not too crazy, but he didn't look like some generational prospect, but he looked good. And the Chargers defense just looks better than I thought. They came out with a heat against the Chiefs. It's clearly a Harbaugh team. They just hit. I love when a team just hits. You see Omarion Hampton come in the gap, and they're just not playing that shit. Like, they're lowering that shoulder, and a lot of that comes from Derwin James and Khalil Mack, who are Khalil Mack and Derwin James are just tempo setters on defense. They just come out and they're just blasting fools left and right. And I love to see that. But that game was a couple days ago. We're not going to do too much on that, but great game for the Chargers. Chiefs 0-1. Whole rest of the AFC West 1-0. It's a weird start. I think I saw something saying this is the first time that they have last in the division to themselves since like 2000 something. It's been a long time. We'll talk about my Raiders playing the Patriots 1-0 now. Geno, in my opinion, was holding onto the ball for a little bit too long, but besides that, he played great. I mean, he had a couple bad throws, in my opinion, where like should have been picked, did get picked, but our OC, man, he was cooking up some shit. I mean, that's what the hell I like to see. I could not. There was so many plays where it was just what's his name? Brock Bowers, just wide open over the middle of the field. He's the number one guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's the guy the defense is paying attention to, and he's just butt naked in the middle of the field, just by himself for a 23-yard pickup. I thought that our offense looked surprisingly good. Our wide receiver core looked pretty decent. Trey Tucker looked like a superhero out there today. Jacoby Myers is just always going to be consistent. He's going to catch passes. He's going to always be like a little bit open here and there coming out of the slot. He's just always there. And Jack Besh, however you say his name, really hope that guy turns out to be good. Dante Thornton had a big catch down the sideline. Big game for the Raiders to come out and set the tone for the season. Harold Landry on the Patriots. Dude had like 2.5 sacks in like the third quarter. I don't know what the hell, by the third quarter, not in the third quarter. That'd be crazy, but that dude had himself a game. Our run blocking, though, terrible. A lot of people were like, oh, Ashton Jeanty had 2 yards per carry. That was not Ashton Jeanty's fault. When we gave him the ball in like 1st and 10, he would go for like 4 or 5 yards every time. But then we were giving him the ball in short yardage situations. That was the only time he was really getting the rock, was like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. We were like, here, Jeanty, go figure it out. You know what I mean? And he did. I think if you're a stat watcher and you didn't watch the game, you're going to say, oh my God, Ashton Jeanty didn't really play that good, blah, 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 blah. But I think that's unfair. I think Ashton Jeanty had himself a good game. I think the blocking was terrible. When he wasn't getting hit in the backfield, he was fantastic. Raiders running backs, I think, over the last few years have had the least yards before contact, so I'm not really going to do a ton of blame on that for Ashton Jeanty. Our offensive line, seemingly terrible at picking up stunts from defensive linemen. There was a couple plays, specifically Harold Landry, who just stunted on the edge and then came right up the middle, and the guards just let it happen. We didn't really do a good job of passing off the blocks where you go, oh shit, you take the edge. You know what I mean? When they come get this guy who is now coming down the center, coming down the middle. You don't want pressure in your quarterback's face. But Gino, my criticisms, held the ball a little bit too long, made a couple of questionable throws where he was kind of forcing it against man coverage that like definitely could have been picked. Some of them should have been picked. But we had ourselves a good game. Our defense looked better than I thought. Our secondary clearly is not very good, but hopefully we can live off of, big plays and takeaways. We're not going to be a defense that's going to hold you to having a super long stalled out drive that makes you punt, but maybe we can have a couple guys ball hawk and grab something and pick up a tip pass like we did today, and Max Crosby makes plays, and hopefully we can do what we do. But defense looked a little bit better than I thought. I did not expect our defense to look as decent as it did, but honestly, I think that was more on the Pats offense than our defense. Chip Kelly was really cooking, though, today. That's who I would give the most credit to today. Chip Kelly was really out there scheming up some shit. I wish that we would have done a little bit better in the run game. I feel like Zamir White was getting the ball a little bit more than I would have liked. I know it was only a couple times, but get that guy out of here. You know what I mean? I am not a Zamir White guy, personally. I think that he doesn't really do anything well. He's a shit back, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, he's not the worst running back in the league, but he doesn't really run people over. He doesn't really create a lot of space. He's not really elusive. He's not really fast. He's just kind of a guy you throw in there to run into the middle of the gap and get hit and get half a yard, get 2 yards, fall over. You know what I mean? He's not really. I would just rather those carries go to Genty, but I understand early career, you don't want to just load him with 100,000 touches. I don't want to do too much on the Raiders, but man, good look for the Raiders today. Play the Chargers next week. That's going to be a tough game. I would love if we could beat the Chargers, though. That would get me real fired up. Then you'd really see me come out here and start to get a little optimistic. Want to bet on that? Shout out to stealing money from my coworkers. Colts Dolphins. Mike McDaniel, you're fired. What the hell was that, Mike McDaniel? Daniel Jones looks like Andrew Luck. I don't know what the hell was up with that. I think he was the number one QB in fantasy until Josh Allen turned into Christ. But Mike McDaniel, you should immediately be on the hot seat. I thought you were in the hot seat before the season. My take about the Dolphins looks utterly and completely correct. Their defense looks atrocious. Tua made a ton of terrible decisions. Clearly doesn't really want to throw the ball to Tyreek that much. I think Jalen Waddle was out. Actually, I don't even know if he was out. That's the point. That's the point. The game wasn't even worth watching. No team in the league should ever be down 23-0 to the Colts. And the real question after this Dolphins game is, will Matt ever watch another Dolphins game for the rest of the season? And the answer might be no. We might never watch Dolphins football again after this. They might have just lost my viewership. You'll catch it. I'll catch it on Red Zone. Mike McDaniel, you're on the hot seat. Tua, you looked atrocious. He looked like those concussions got to him. He looked like he straight up lost his shit. I mean, Daniel Jones looked awesome. Jonathan Taylor was good. I just don't know. I just don't really know what the Dolphins are doing. They're just kind of out there. Nothing that they do matters to me. Tua had 114 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Daniel Jones, 272 and a touchdown. No picks. Jonathan Taylor averaged 4 yards a carry. Michael Pittman had himself a good game. Tyler Warren had 7 for 76. Jonathan Taylor had 3 for 27 receiving. That's not great, but I mean, there's no way you should be getting your ass kicked like that by the Colts. But as much as this is me shitting on the Dolphins, I also want to say, look at Shane Steichen, man. This guy just makes quarterbacks look awesome. Let's not forget that this guy had Gardner Minshew competing for a playoff spot. This is a talented roster at the end of the day. I shit on the Colts all the time. I don't think they're going to be good this year. But Daniel Jones plays like that for the rest of the year. This could be a playoff team. That's not what I'm expecting. But, man, their defense is acceptable. They have a couple good pieces on defense. Nothing really too crazy, but serviceable guys on the defensive end of the football. And I just think that, I mean, their offensive talent is fine. Michael Pittman's good. Jonathan Taylor's good. Their offensive line is serviceable. You know what I mean? It's not terrible. It's not like they have some terrible offense or terrible defense. They just got Tyler Warren. Alec Pierce is good. I actually like Adonai Mitchell. He doesn't really get the ball very much, but and their defense is cool. I mean, Nick Cross is good. Charvarius Ward's there. Kenny Moore. They have a good team, but DeForest Buckner's old ass. You know what I mean? But there's just no reason any team in the league should be down this much. Dolphins, you're done for. Your season's over. Sorry if you're a Miami fan and you're watching this. You're probably not watching it anyway, but if you're a Miami fan, that's a rough one. At least you're in Miami. Bengals, Browns. Joe Burrow looks great. Offense looks good as expected, but the defense is atrocious. The Browns' offense should never look this good. Dylan Sampson looks like prime Nick Chubb. The only reason the Bengals won this game is because they got 2 picks. I think that the same way I just talked about the Raiders, where I think the only way that our defense will be acceptable is with a lot of turnover luck and getting tipped balls and just atrocious decisions from the other team's quarterback. That's also what I think is going to have to happen for the Bengals to even be serviceable this year. They just didn't really look like they had much impact on the defensive side of the ball. I bet on the Bengals to cover the 4.5-point spread. They didn't, so nothing but annoyed at that. Why are you in this close of a game with the Browns? I get that it's a divisional matchup. I don't really care. You are Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, all Shamar, whatever the hell his name is, Shamar Stewart. You have all these guys. It's not like you're not a talented team. You should not be in this close of a game with the Browns. You're probably getting outcoached by Kevin Stefanski, unfortunately. But Joe Flacco's in the pocket right now looking like Phillip Rivers. Matter of fact, Joe Flacco's in the pocket right now looking like prime Joe Flacco. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Let's play some defense. The only reason you won this game was because you got 2 picks. And I get that. I get that we got 2 picks. Good job on the defense. But I don't really think of that as being a sustainable. You're not going to get 2 picks every game. You're not playing Joe Flacco every game. Their best weapon is David Njoku, who is good, of course. David Njoku, great tight end. Come on. Let's be serious. Dylan Sampson looked like a superhero in this game. What are you doing? Bucks, Falcons. Falcons look good. I thought that this Falcons defense would look a little bit better than people expected. I really like Ricky Pierce. Is that his name? No, I almost called him Ricky Pearsall. James Pierce. I really like James Pierce coming out of college. I thought that he was a very talented edge rusher who I think got underdrafted, actually. Baker and Emeka Egbuka are showing exactly what I said before the season. Thought they were going to be awesome. They looked awesome. They obviously immediately have great chemistry, which is fantastic to see in the first game. Massive choke job by Younghoe Koo. Just absolutely choked it. But that balances out the Chase McLaughlin choke job right before. Because if Chase McLaughlin didn't shit his pants, then that would have never been a 3-point game in the first place. Shout out to the Falcons, though. I had the Bucks in this game. They covered. Actually, I had them +1, so they won me money. But the Falcons look good, man. Michael Penix. I liked him coming into the draft. He's got a big arm. I don't really like drafting old quarterbacks, particularly like Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, none of these guys. I don't really like drafting an old quarterback coming out of college. But I liked Michael Penix a lot. He throws a beautiful ball. I mean, he was slinging it. And in that fourth quarter drive, as somebody who had money on the Bucks, that fourth quarter drive at the end of the game where they settled for that field goal that ended up getting smoked, he was throwing some darts into the end zone. He hit somebody. I don't know if it was up the seam. It was, man, he throws a beautiful ball. He's not the guy I would pick, but I wish I could throw a ball and it would look like that. I wish that when I threw a football, it had that. It has zip. When he throws a deep ball, it has a beautiful loft to it. It just looks like Michael Penix visually is so good to watch. I hope that he continues to be a good quarterback because I honestly wanted the Raiders to draft him, but we got Brock Bowers, so no complaints. But on the Bucs side, a little closer than I thought this should be for the Bucs. I know Chris Godwin was out. You know what I mean? Not really a fantastic game for the Bucs offense. That said, divisional game, the Falcons and Bucs games are normally tough games. They're normally close games. They're not really usually an ass whooping. So I will expect better from the rest of the season. I expect the Bucs, like I said, to be potentially competing for the 1 seed in the NFC. And A lot of these games are a little closer than I thought they would be. But Emeka Egbuka, hope I'm pronouncing that right, looks like a budding star in the NFL immediately. First game, 2 touchdowns, big bomb over the top. Also, on that he had like a big deep crosser play that Baker hit him on, where he just kind of just double move. I don't know if it was really double move, but he just, I mean, when a receiver gets to the top of his route and he just kind of takes that one step and the DB kind of turns a little bit and you're just like, well, you're cooked. Like even when you're playing Madden and you see that, you're like, you're cooked. Baker put that ball in such, like, that was the best ball placement humanly. It was just, he just boom right here, DB's arms like right here. He just boom comes down with it, touchdown. I love when there's just a perfectly placed football. Love Baker Mayfield. Love the Bucks. I like the Falcons. Bijan screwed me in fantasy though, not because I was playing against him. Good Lord. Niners Seahawks. Closer game than a lot of people thought. Game looked closer than the final score. I thought that Purdy was honestly pretty disappointing in this game. I see people talking about like, oh, Purdy, like Colin Cowherd came on today and was talking about how Purdy looked good. I don't think he looked good at all. I mean, I thought that those 2 picks that he threw were terrible decisions. He's throwing shit into like triple coverage. I'm not going to come in here and shit on Purdy. They lost George Kittle in the first quarter. I don't know if it was the first quarter, but they lost George Kittle very early on into the game. I think that this Seahawks defense is going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. I think a lot of people were really low on the Seahawks, shockingly. I thought that they were the best value bet to potentially come in and win this division if Matt Stafford had a back injury and the Niners continue to get hurt, which is what is expected. I think the Niners just signed what the hell is his name? Let me see if I can find the tweet real quick. What a terrible job from me. I don't see it, but they signed some old washed. I don't even know if he's old. They signed some shitty wide receiver because Jawan Jennings is hurt now. It's just, what do you expect from the 49ers, unfortunately? A lot of people thought I was just hating on them because I'm a Raider fan. At the end of the day, bro, they get hurt every year all the time. I don't know why. I cannot figure out why. But they're just constantly injury prone. They're constantly not doing good. So I'm just not going to bet on them to be healthy when they're doing nothing but getting older. Trent Williams ain't getting any younger. George Kittle ain't getting any younger. Neither is Fred Warner. You know what I mean? This isn't a team full of youth. CMC ain't getting any younger. CMC, man. Also, him and Saquon, just those dudes who just, they get, and Bijan, you get the ball and it should be a 2-yard loss and they turn into a 6-yard gain. Like, one of the more impressive things that I see these guys do isn't the 60-yard rush. Like, Derrick Henry's awesome. Derrick Henry broke off that 60-yard rush. And, of course, Derrick Henry does the same thing I'm talking about, but it's just for the sake of example. Not the huge run like Derrick Henry had. I love when a running back should have lost 2 yards and he turns it into a 3-yard gain. And you're just like, well, guy looks like a superhero. Saved our drive. It was 1st and 10. It was going to be 1st and 13, and it was going to be 2nd and 13, and we were going to be screwed. But now it's 2nd and 7. We can turn this into 3rd and manageable. Keep the drive alive. Love that. Kenneth Walker was absolutely getting his ass whooped in the run game. I think that a lot of people are going to be down on him. I don't think it was his fault. The guy had 10 for 20, and Zach Charbonnet had 12 for 47 and the touchdown. Charbonnet definitely looked better. Sam Darnold, super mid, super trash, super whatever game. I really don't know what it was. He had 150 yards, 16 for 23. I mean, he played okay in theory, but no touchdowns, no picks, just didn't really do a whole lot. Niners defense looks good. Robert Saleh being back clearly has helped. Brian Robinson did not exactly have himself the best game, but really I was just kind of disappointed in Brock Purdy. A lot of bad decisions today. That laser in the end zone to Jake Tonges, however the hell you say his name, never would have saw that coming to be basically a game-winning touchdown. Just mossed Tariq Woolen, which was crazy. I think it was Tariq Woolen, but I mean, like I said, made a lot of bad decisions today. That definitely could have been a bad decision, but hey, he threw it up. The dude came down with it, so I'm not going to criticize him for throwing a touchdown that ended up winning his team the game. Jake Tonges, though, grown-ass man. Showed those little Seahawks DBs he wasn't fucking around today. I liked that. Even though I was rooting against them, I did like that. JSN looks awesome. Cooper Kupp didn't do shit. Cooper Kupp, pretty dry, boring game from him. Another game that I was actually pretty locked into was Lions-Packers. The Lions offense looked like shit. Just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, trick play, play action, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, trick play, play action. Wasn't really super impressed. Dan Campbell's clock management at the end of the half was bad. I don't know if you guys were really paying attention to that. Should have called the timeout with like 50 seconds left. Ended up burning off a ton of clock. The Packers defense looked fantastic. My take before the year was that I thought the Packers defense was going to suck. And then they go and trade for one of the 5 to 6 best edge rushers in football. So screwed over my take. You know what I mean? That's going to look bad after the season. But remember, that was pre-Micah Parsons trade. Packers are looking like they are for front running to win this division immediately. That was kind of an ass whooping. The Lions just didn't really look very well put together. I know that it was 27-13. The game felt worse than the final score. Felt like a huge blowout. Jared Goff had 225, a touchdown and a pick. Not really a thriller. Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 rushes for 19 yards. David Montgomery, 11 rushes for 25. Sam Laporta had a good game, though. He was good. Amon-Ra didn't really do much. Jordan Love, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't really have to do much in this game. His defense and Josh Jacobs kind of did what they needed to do. Josh Jacobs went and got a touchdown. Romeo Doubs had 2 big catches. Tucker Kraft looked good. I know it wasn't like a great game, but sometimes a guy can have a good game without putting up good stats. We all know that. I like Tucker Kraft a lot. But yeah, just there's not really much to say besides just the Lions look kind of disorganized. Funny enough, Colin Cowherd said this after their preseason game where he was like, they just look kind of not well put together. And I kind of like agreed but brushed it aside. You know what I mean? They didn't look well put together, but it's a preseason game, so who gives a shit, right? They didn't look well put together. It looks like they missed their coordinators. That OC, everybody seems to love him. I can't remember his name. Is Todd Monken? Is that his name? What the hell is his name? I don't want to be shitting on people for no reason. But a lot of people are really high on him, like John Morton. Not Todd Monken. What the hell am I saying? John Morton. I've heard a lot about how this guy's going to be awesome. I didn't really think it looked too awesome. So, I mean, it's not like they don't have a skilled team. You know what I mean? I felt like he was trying to do a Ben Johnson. That's what it felt like. It felt like their OC was trying to be Ben Johnson instead of being him. I don't know. I don't know a ton about Johnny Morton, but yeah, just kind of. I felt like they had the same identity, but they just did it way worse. You know what I mean? It kind of just felt like if you took the Lions from last year and you were just like, reduce the offense by 33%, and then you just get whooped. I'm not really going to cover Texans-Rams. That game was kind of a snooze fest. Rams looked fine. Giants-Commanders, not really worth covering. Cardinals-Saints, didn't watch it, to be honest with you. That game got put in the category of not watching that shit. I have to spend my time on watching games that matter. Funny enough, I'm about to talk about how I watched Broncos-Titans. Bo Nix looked like shit. I think that might have been one of the worst games of Bo Nix's pro career. Shout out to the Broncos defense, though, man. Every single time Cam Ward snapped the ball, there was an orange jersey beating him up immediately. Just sad hike, ass whooping. Titans O-line isn't terrible. It's not great, but the Titans defense obviously came to play. They had Bo Nix seeing some ghosts out there. Not a great game for him. I was kind of disappointed. I thought this should have been a rout. It was an 8-point game. I actually don't even think they covered the spread crazy enough. Cam Ward had 112. Not a good game for him. But again, I think he's playing potentially the best defense in the NFL. Bo Nix had 2 picks. RJ Harvey looked good. He had 6 for 70 yards. He was pretty good in the run game. That's kind of what we expected from him coming out of college. I can't even remember what college he went to because I'm terrible at remembering people's names and where they went to school. But you know what I mean? I expected him to be good. I watched some of his college film here and there, and then also heard all the hype of him being good. So, and then also Sean Payton was gassing him up. But Sean Payton was gassing up Bo Nix like he was going to be Drew Brees. Looked a lot more like Drew Lock. So we'll see. Not exactly a great game from them. I think we'll probably end on that. We're rounding around 30 minutes. I hope that this was cool. I'm going to upload all of these individually on a TikTok, and hopefully we'll actually get some viewership on this podcast because we're into the NFL season now. It's time. You're going to get these pretty much every time on Monday. We'll probably also upload a preview today for the Lions-Vikings game. Lions-Vikings. No, Vikings-Bears game. I'm rooting for the Bears for my take equity. I'm rooting for Caleb Williams because I like him. And I'm rooting for DeAndre Swift to win me my fantasy week. Let's go Bears.